Evtol Weekly, episode 7. My name's Liam.
And I'm Reese. And we're back.
We are back.
How was your weekend, Liam? I think it was a bit of a rough one.
It was an extremely rough one. Guys, if you haven't heard, us in Europe have been hit by a major storm over the weekend. We're not used to these type of hurricane force winds. So it was it Friday evening? Yep. Went to bed, had power, everything. Got up, ready to go to work. Lights wouldn't come on. No running water. The whole country just went on standstill, Race. I can't explain what it was like. We were going out to petrol stations just to get fuel for the car. Run out of petrol. The likes of your big supermarkets were open day generators. But I'd say 90% of shops and that were closed over here. And we didn't get power restored until it was mid-Sunday. And then our water didn't get restored till it was that Sunday evening. So, guys, if you've seen that we weren't putting up as many videos, that is why. Gladly I survived. I'm back for Evtol Weekly. But did you get any of the storm over there?
Yeah, we did, but it was minor in comparison. Just gale force winds and a bit of rain. But I think it does make you appreciate that we don't have the same weather conditions as other parts of the world, where there's hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that. I know in America it's prevalent, and sometimes entire towns and cities get just torn down if they're en route of a hurricane. Yeah, I think it sort of goes into a video that I done recently last week, which was about safety concerns and what could the eVTOLs do in the case of a storm. So there is a few things. I think number one will be that all of the eVTOLs will be fitted with real weather technology, and they'll make their flight paths based on that technology. So obviously, if this is a storm, there will never be a flight that will be so important that they would take off and risk everyone's life for the sake of a 20-minute journey or a 40-minute journey. But in the case where they did have a storm, they would have rotors where they have fail-safes in case they did go down. But I think the main point I would take away from it would be the mitigation factor of sort of don't put yourself in trouble. And they'll be able to use the real-time weather apps to check and make sure that the flight path is a dangerous route on that day. Very similar to what boats do. If it's going to be rocky water, something like that, they just won't go out that day, or they'll wait until the waters have sort of eased out.
Yeah, it does make me think in weather conditions like that. I know one of my big bear cases surrounding eVTOL probably was weather conditions, and I know we spoke about ice and that in a previous stream. These heavy winds, yes, they can be quite prevalent now this time of year, but when we actually break it down to the basics, airlines operate, and yes, we did get the seizure of many airline operations over the weekend, but look, over the long-term run of the business, I don't think it's actually too much to worry about. Actually be afraid of the business model just due to severe weather. But anyway, going across to other news. I'll be dead honest with you. Between, I'd say, Friday evening up until I'd say at least Tuesday, I wasn't in touch with any of the news going on. However, there seems to be a lack of news coming out into the whole eVTOL industry.
Yeah, you've literally taken the words right out of my mouth in terms of I don't know about the rest of the people here, but at the moment I'm in a drought of news from the eVTOL community. I don't know what it was. A theory that I posted I mentioned last week, where I was saying about, I don't know if it's with this new Trump, with Trump coming in and Elon sort of stopping all the trying to deregulate. He was saying he was going to put the regulations on hold for a few months. So I don't know if that sort of stopped us or put us on pause, let's say, for a month or two, whilst he's sort of figuring out who's required and who's not. But at the moment, it just doesn't seem anything's coming out of Joby or Archer. I know there was an Archer video that came out that you showed me. That was quite interesting.
So Adam was at the Future of Aviation in, was it Davos?
Davos, yeah.
He spoke about. Do you know what? Will I just bring the video up for the guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's an interesting video.
Let me get it here. He spoke about the aviation sector not just being the only sector that they can break into, but just the ecosystem of it. But I'll bring up the actual video for the guys to see. Let me.
Yeah, and it basically just sort of showed the path that they're going to take. Sort of similar to something that we mentioned last week, where we did sort of want a bit of an outline of like, what is the plan, where are we going, and how are we going to do it.
There we go. So, guys, let me know if you can hear me.
If you think about it from a business model perspective, there are thousands of airlines globally. And just the airlines, there's one use case. I mean, there's a defense application, there's a rescue application, there's all different types of applications. But if we just stick with airlines, let's say airlines wanted to just try this out. And they said, okay, give us 5. Let's just test this out. And let's say 20% of the airline industry wanted to do this. Why would they want to do this? Because it can enable them selling more business class, first class seats, which is how they make money. So all of a sudden, a just one category, a 20% trial of that will equal thousands of these vehicles out there spread globally. So while you might not see them in lines, across the sky in your city, they will be out there in the thousands. So the businesses can get really big really quickly because these are $5 million products. And if you're selling thousands of them, you can really start to generate a huge business. Then some of those airlines will convert to fleets, and you'll really start to see this pick up into the 2030s. If you think about it from a business model perspective.
So what I want to sort of say about this is the only thing that worries me is, are we starting to go to a stage where we're going after premium first class customers? Or is it?
Yeah. But like it's very similar to what the Tesla model started off at, where they started off very high end range. I think it was 120,000 odds per car. But you need to go to the higher end range at the beginning whilst you're still developing the product and trying to get it out. And then once you can mass produce, that's when you can drop the cost, because you've made it more efficient. You've gotten away the parts of the procedure which were just fat and weren't required. And now you've slimlined it and the price has come down, as well as because of that. So I think it will have to start off at the higher end range. And the other thing is, we don't want them going bare bone with no margin for error, and then they're cutting into their cost. I think it'll have to start off there and then work their way back, rather than starting off very low and trying to do a high end product for loads of people, rather than doing a high end product for a few people.
Yeah, I'm starting to think all you need is 1 or 2 major airlines to adopt this. It's one of those, it's a bit like first mover advantage. If they, the likes of a United Airlines, a Delta Airlines, start absolutely knocking up, they start getting more and more premium customers, just for the experience of these air taxis.
Yeah.
You're going to have the likes of your other major airlines following suit. Now, will there be something in the contract that they can only sell to the likes of Delta and all that? Or we don't know at this stage. Guys, if any of you know if there's any specifications in the contract that makes it as if they can only sell to the one player, please let me know. Then we also had Archer at the Air Mobility conference in India.
Yes, yeah, we did.
The only thing that worries me with India, it's going to lead on to a little bit of what we're going to talk about next. EHang.
Yeah.
I know we dismiss EHang a little bit because they're not able to get into the US, but you're going to go into direct competition with the likes of EHang if you enter the Asian market. Yes, India is a nice market to get into, but, and this is where I'm going with this, we had a massive downturn in the market due to DeepSeek yesterday.
I imagine it's not just me and you that felt it. I imagine everyone else here as well. If, let us know in the comments if that if you've got a bit of a down day because of it. But yeah, it was that DeepSeek, wasn't it?
Guys, actually, let me know if any of you have tested out DeepSeek. I never downloaded it, yeah? Do you know what it is? I think I'm a little bit afraid to download it after all this news coming out about this, that, the other.
I read something somewhere. It was only to Chinese. You'd have to have a Chinese mobile number to be able to download it.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's meant to be kept for the Chinese market. Like, it was more the fear that it created in the market because it came out and it sort of was better than ChatGPT with less NVIDIA chips.
Yeah, so, it's more efficient.
And then that's why I think NVIDIA dropped massively. I think it was NVIDIA's loss in a day, the biggest ever. I've seen something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the whole market felt it. It was a huge earthquake, really.
And this is kind of where I'm going with this. So the Chinese are now coming out with these very efficient AI systems.
Yeah.
Yes, we can say Trump can protect the US economy by tariffing and making sure that the likes of EHang can't get in. However, when you go into direct competition with them in India, so it works both ways, guys. Archer will not use Chinese software due to the fact they'll be afraid they'll get tariffed. But then if the Chinese software is more efficient and they have to spend less on CapEx, EHang is in a much better position and can actually market their product much betterly than the likes of Archer. And then it's like, look, I know the likes of EHang's is it 214? It's only 2-seater. But they have in the pipeline a 4 and a 6-seater coming down the road.
Yep.
And they've said they want to enter the US market in 2030, 2032. Guys, that's not actually that far away when we're talking about this industry. Like, I wouldn't expect the likes of Archer and Joby to actually be upscaling to a massive potential until the likes of 2030. And the thing is, where are EHang going to be then? We're not going to have Trump in. So where are EHang going to be there? I do think we have to start looking more at this. I think we're very quick to dismiss the Chinese markets, Chinese stocks. But I would be quite worried about going head-to-head directly with EHang so early on in the business in India. What are your thoughts on that?
I do think, I think everything you said is very valid. The only thing that I kind of like from EHang is that they've kind of only marketed themselves internally at the moment. And they sort of wanted to master that Chinese market and keep it all internal. But as you were saying, with using DeepSeek and any other AI technology from China, who knows, they could get the step ahead. And also they've definitely had more test flight hours than, I think it's very similar to Joby, but a lot more than Archer. But I think we've got to watch this space. I think EHang could be maybe a dark horse in this race. It's one that we sort of wrote off after there seems a few dodgy dealings with them, but who knows? Like, you should never count them out.
Guys, if you haven't seen that video, it was a few months back. Race actually done a deep dive into EHang, and he discovered an awful lot that I didn't know about whatsoever. Like, reading them off the top, I wouldn't have thought it. But, oh my God, I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
The thing is, not financial advice, they could be absolutely amazing. But from what I heard, and I know it's from years ago.
That was it. It was 3 years ago, that video. So there is a chance that they maybe got a security guard that's on his toes this time, rather than sitting down at the gate. Or like, imagine after the that video came out, I imagine they were a lot tighter with security. So yeah, who knows? But at the moment, they seem to be performing quite well. So it could be one for the future.
So then we had Lieutenant General Scott Howell. He's a retired general. He joined Archer Defense. No,
one of the people commented that thing earlier, but yeah.
Oh, John Smith. Yeah, Lieutenant General Scott Howell joined Archer Defense. Now, the only thing with this as well, so Archer Defense is so new, this side of the business, and it's starting to be heavily marketed. And I know we spoke about it last week about how heavy Archer's marketing presence are. The only thing that does make me think was after we had that chat last week with Dylan, and it is, will they push more towards a defensive side business before they commercialize in a big way? Because we were saying last week, if you sign a deal with the likes of the government, surely there's a deadline on the deal. The government wouldn't just give away money for no reason. So surely they're the first midnights come out. Yes, we know they're hybrids, but surely the hybrid will be easier to get out. I just don't know if I'm a massive fan. I love the Archer Defense side of the business, but I don't know if I'm a massive fan of all of a sudden turning away from this eVTOL. We're going to get this out and just go heavy on defense. And it seems like now at this stage we have the defense and we have our Abu Dhabi, and that's it. Like, I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit more of a push in the US market.
And it was sort of something that I thought about after we had our chat with Dylan last week about how they're trying to cut their government spending or their debt at the moment over there. And like, would this development of an aircraft maybe take part of that, or maybe there is the agreement that once it's developed, then they will do it. It would be good to get a bit of information on how that deal was structured, because I know they came out with the headline of X 100 million, but what is it like? What does that entail? Like, this is all the information we need to know, and at the moment we're just sort of getting these small breadcrumbs, but we're not getting a piece of the full pie.
And do you think Archers may be biting off a little bit more than they can chew? Because it's like we're getting deals left, right, and centre. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. But there's no point leaking little bits. We'll do a midnight here, and we'll do a little midnight in.
I remember
do some here, and we'll do some that. Like, surely wouldn't you just go hell for leather on one market and roll that out?
I remember one of my managers at work, the place I used to work, was saying that you should always under promise and over deliver. And that's the only thing I'm worried about now is we're over promising. Yes, we'll have this done by here, we'll have that done by there, we'll have this done. And you've agreed with 5 different people you're going to have X amount of aircrafts out by the end of 2025, let's say. And like, is it actually feasible? And like, I imagine these guys are a lot more in the know than us. That's the only thing. But I would like them to pull back the curtain and like let us Archer investors sort of see in, and let us know where are we sitting at the moment. You can see that the last 2-3 weeks of no news is starting to get to me. But yeah, let's hope next week's going to be a bit more insightful.
Yeah, massively. Let me just jump into a few of these comments just so they don't absolutely build up. So we have Eddie. Hi, have an interview prep today. We need to catch up next week. Peace. Eddie, good luck with the interviews. Let us know in the actual comments if you read this back, and let us know what job you're going for, mate.
Yeah, hopefully you get it, mate.
Zon's Ender. I don't. Oh, mate. Mate. Story time with the hospitals.
That is the one.
Me and you looked at. Was it $6-8? And oh my god, I think we were too scared back then to actually put a decent amount of capital into it. And
well, I actually think we made like 20% on it, and we were at the time like high-fiving each other and saying like, what a great deal. But that 20% now has cost us like 400 or 500%. So,
Oh, mate.
because
No, the only thing I'm not tired with, I think them profits I did put straight into Rocket Lab at the time. However,
yeah,
oh my God, it just seems like such a missed opportunity. Now, I did see a video from Kathy Wood today. I think it was with Bloomberg. Was it CNBC? I think it was Bloomberg. And she said, with all this rough around the AI market, the likes of your Palantir will explode massively.
yeah.
So it's one of those I just wish I was in, but has the boat sailed now? I don't know enough about Palantir to constantly put in, and I have to.
If there's something the last year and a bit has taught me is there's no such thing as a top. Like, especially in this AI market, the AI market has no top. It literally just goes and goes and goes. Like every time I put a top on it in my head, it gets blown off and fucking.
But you know what it was? I never thought Nvidia would outtake Apple. Not on this earth did I think they'd outdo them.
About 10 times I said I give Nvidia a top, and every single time it doubled past it. So yeah, I think Palantir might be one for the road to glory, and I think we need to do a bit of a dive into it, see where it is for that road to glory.
Right, you've actually got me thinking there. Road to glory. Road to glory we haven't done in a while, have we?
I think let us know in the comments, but I think it's something that we do need to start doing a bit more of. I think we teased it in one of these streams, and
it kind of went on the back foot then, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think Christmas. In our defence, I think we had a great Christmas, and
I enjoy Christmas too much, mate. Yeah. So really, guys, for anyone that's new here, we brought out this concept, this whole idea of a road to glory. We thought it might be interesting. So me and Reese, if you can't tell, I know it looks like we're in the same room, but we're actually 900 miles apart from each other.
Exactly.
So we have completely different stock accounts. We have completely different thoughts. And we've both done it our own way. So where I might be bullish on a company, Reese might be bearish on a company, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
And as you'll see throughout these last 7 live streams, we have completely different views when it comes to even the eVTOL industry. So then we've always actually thought this, and we thought, why not record it? It'd be fun just for even us to look back on.
Just letting you guys into and to let you see behind the curtain. This is actually exactly how this started. It was literally just me and Liam investing on our own and just speaking to each other, being like, "Oh, I just invested in this. No, I've invested in this," and then explaining why and just talking to each other. But like, we want to make this a bit more interactive than just me and Liam. Now that we've got you guys as well, we want you guys to jump in. What do you think? What stocks are you invested in? Let us know. But like, don't just say a stock. Give us a little bit of a background. Why are you thinking? Like, what are your hopes for that stock? That's basically where we're coming from. But yeah, something that I think we need to show a bit more love to now. I think it's been on the back burner for long enough. It's time to get more of a front seat.
But I think it's in times like this, it'll be nice to do. Do you know when you don't have as much news popping around? Instead of us constantly repeating ourselves, talking about Abu Dhabi every week, and we think that this, that, and the other, I feel like we've beaten that bush too much now. Let us know, because do you know where it started as well? So we told you before about our negative experience in the stock market and how we got stung, but then on the flip side to that, that's how we found Rocket Lab. So it was the likes of, wasn't it one of the subscribers to another guy's stream, and he brought Rocket Lab and he explained it
brilliant,
tremendously. Like, if I could get that man on this stream, mate, we wouldn't have a job. But what it was, then when we started diving into Rocket Lab, like, oh my God.
It seemed it seemed massively undervalued. Like, we were just looking at it and like we kind of couldn't believe it. So then that was what became the main portfolio piece, the gem in the hat, as they say. But like that was when we knew, oh yeah, this has serious like upside potential. And yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting ride. And like we've already seen at the moment, you guys have come up with quite a few good suggestions, like Dylan with Vertiv. That seems like one in the future.
I think Vertiv took a bit of a shock due to that.
Yes, yeah. I feel like that was a lot with technology. There was a lot of fear in the market, especially once people seen Nvidia take such a hit. And you know what it like? Fear breeds fear. So once it started diving, it just took a massive plummet.
Yeah. So guys, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to share the Robinhood. Now, let me explain. Originally, set was going to be $100 to $100,000 live. You watch it. This is not financial advice, by the way, so I'm going to say that before I bring this up.
Let's just clarify.
This is me and Reese investing, but showing you our thoughts and why we invest. We're not saying it's right. We're not saying it's wrong. But at least you can sort of see where the Hustle Brothers come up with why they're going into a stock. Then you can be in the comments there. You can explain your experiences with stocks. We might even get people on, like Dylan was last week. They can teach us about all different stocks. I'd love to learn options, and I know Dylan told us last week he's in options, so I'd love to do that. We don't do options, but I'd love to do that.
And I think especially because the way that our portfolio at the moment is, it's going to be pretty low to get to that 107,000. Believe it or not, guys, we're going to have to take a few risks because we don't plan to do it over the next 35 years.
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, it wouldn't be exciting for everyone to watch if we just invested in the likes of, I don't know, Coca-Cola, Tesla, even Nvidia. So we all have to take major risk.
Yeah. Unless you put massive capital in or you have a very long time horizon, the 107,000 would be way out of reach.
So let me share the screen and we can keep talking about it. Let me make sure there's no information up on it first. There we go. So let me explain to you. So we started up. Sorry, it's going up the whole time. This concept was $100. We put in $100, and next thing we got given a free stock of Google. But it seems to be every time Google goes up, our starting balance goes up. So one time it was 107, this time it's 114. Guys, whether it's 100, 107, 114, we can call it 114 to 114K if you want. So what were we up? We were up 19%. We have put it on the back burner. I was putting our trades in the Discord as we done them, because if some of you guys don't know, me and Reese both work full time as well. This YouTube would love to make it a full time thing, but
it's just a hobby. Yeah,
it's just a hobby. Yeah, we love just sharing our thoughts with you. So we can't be live doing this. We can do it after hours live, but we can't do it opening bell like so that. So to make it so you know what we're doing, I'm screenshotting the trades as we make them, and I'm putting it straight in our Discord. So if we go into the likes of our Discord, I haven't got it open, it's fine. We'll share them as we do them. Now, I want to stress, this is not financial advice. Do not follow us. This is just for entertainment. You're going to see some massive wins because we're going to do risky stuff, but you're also going to see some extreme losses. You're going to see extreme emotion, and you're going to see some passion come out of these two fine men.
And this is the fun. This is the fun of the game.
You know,
and if you, this is the benefit.
What's so good about it is we've all been there, so we're all at different stages in our journey. However, I feel like what we're about to show off is what every investor does at the very start. And because we have a little bit of experience behind us, it'll be funny to see, can we do well in it?
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's more just for the laugh, really, guys.
And I think what it will be especially good for is if you are a retail new to the retail investing game, you can sort of watch more like explain through mistakes that we've done and what to avoid, and you get to do it from the comfort of your own home, sitting there, not having to put anything in to invest yourself. You're watching our accounts, you'll see where it goes, and yeah, you're going to see some wins, you're going to see some losses, but let's hope that the wins are bigger than the losses. And I think that's the only thing us investors could think.
Massively. Guys, let me know here, is there any stocks that you are particularly passionate about? Me and Reese have had a bit of a chat on what we want to sort of focus on next. We have been thinking, you have seen me push out Rocket Lab. You know I'm so passionate about Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab's like my little baby with the likes of Archer and Joby. I think there are three core. We will never go away from them three.
Yeah.
Then we started branching out and started thinking, the likes of Redwire is starting to get quite popular lately. And I think you said, Reese, you'd be quite interested to dive into Redwire a little bit more, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So just as a brief overview for you guys in the stream, if you haven't had a look into it, they're basically like a space infrastructure company, and with like the space industry becoming so prevalent over the last few years, them helping out with the infrastructure, you can see that the demand is going to skyrocket. Pardon the pun, but it's going to look like that they're going to be in tandem with the likes of Rocket Lab, with Amazon doing their Blue Origin, and well, I imagine with SpaceX as well, if SpaceX aren't doing it all themselves anyway. But like one of the things that I really liked and I thought was like so innovative and like compelling really was that they can do 3D printing of components out in space. So obviously, if you need a component, you don't want to be coming back. It's a hell of a commute to come back to Earth to go back out to get it, like because you've left your like I don't know a nut or a bolt out there. But they can print. They can bring the 3D printer there and print off the part that they need, which I found fascinating, and just goes to show how amazing technology is these days. But yeah, that's going to be something. I'm going to do a video on that now. So everyone in the stream, make sure you give that a watch. Because if you're like me, I didn't actually know much about it. But this deep dive that's coming out will basically give you a summary of what it's like. And you might want to add it to your portfolios. But as usual, it's not investment advice.
I'm quite excited about Redwire because, look, I do think the likes of your transportation industry, your space industry will take off. That's why I think I'm going to add a little bit of the likes of Tesla and Uber to our portfolio. I want to start covering the likes of Tesla and Uber as well. So also let me know if you're in Tesla or Uber. I'm in Tesla myself, or not in Tesla. I'm not in Tesla. I'll be dead honest with you. I'm in Uber. But we also have Uber, don't we, on the road to glory. So look, we're talking with small numbers at the moment. So I don't think people will be too interested, but we're currently 3.35% up on Uber at the moment. But I'm expecting them to have a really nice earnings. I know with the likes of this Chinese fear coming in, we could get a little bit of fear strike, but I think they're marching towards $90 in the next, I don't know, 6-12 months. Let me dive in a little bit into these comments because they are stacking, bro. Robert, signing in. How are you today, Robert?
Yeah, he's becoming one of the regulars.
He is, to be fair. Do you know, he actually comes to most of our videos. So I really appreciate your continuous support. That's another thing, guys. So if you have an X account, follow us on X. We are let me go into me here. At the Hustle Bros YT on X, we've now created 2 communities. So whether you're in Archer or Joby, there's a specific community for you. I just think this would be quite interesting to start building out. Just because a lot of our information that we see from people being sent in is from the likes of X. Wait, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? I'm there presenting.
You're back on.
There we go.
That's a lot more like it.
The likes of Archer and Joby, we have specific channels for you to dive into. I think this would be really good for everyone to just get their due diligence across. The really good thing about the likes of these, there's no fake usernames. We all know who each other are and where we're from and what sort of thing we're looking to bring. So honestly, guys, flood in there. Send whatever information you have on the likes of both Archer and Joby, because I do know some people aren't too fond of the likes of Discord because they, whatever reason. So I think bringing it to a nice platform like X, anyone can jump in. And look, if you're already in it, share it around to more people. It's more eyes we get on this. The more brains, I always say this, the more brains we have looking on a topic, the better we are. Because what we kind of demonstrate in this stream is I might have a thought, Reese might shoot me down, it might be vice versa. Reese might have a thought, I might shoot him down. That doesn't mean we're not going to fall out. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing, but sometimes it makes you think of something completely different. So I do think X be a nice sort of platform.
One of the things that I quite like is, and the comments, there's a lot of questions and like little notes that people make. And sometimes it's things that we haven't even considered. And it just goes to show getting that view from another perspective, it makes the world a difference. Because there'll be just things that me and you might have a tunnel vision down one way, but somebody's looking at it from a complete different angle. And it means then that we're getting a bigger picture of what we're looking at. So really appreciate all the comments and keep them coming in, guys.
Yeah, no, honestly, we're just gonna grow this space out together. We are a unit, a lot of us, and I just love how connected this community is. So just keep being you guys. We've done a vendor. Hello. Do you guys ever discuss vertical aerospace? Vertical aerospace, I have spoke about a few times. I know the reason you're probably asking, I think they had a 90 million offering this week. I'm not mad about them. If you'd like me to do a deep dive on vertical aerospace, let me know. I'm not invested personally in vertical. I now and again pop my head in to see what's happening, but I'm not too worried. I'm more focused on the likes of Joby and Archer. I do look at what's happening with EHang. You're quite interested in blade mobility, aren't you? Air mobility, right?
Yeah, they've at the moment they seem to have sort of just been ticking along. But yeah, for me, vertical aerospace wouldn't be one I'd be invested in at the moment.
Yeah, but Mark, look, you might be passionate about vertical aerospace. So if you're
if you could let us know your thoughts on it and what's attracted you to vertical aerospace, that'd be quite good and good and insightful for us.
Happy to be here live. More happy to hear that both of you are safe. You know what? It's a mad week. It was a mad weekend. Trust me. But no, Dylan, thank you, and it was so nice to speak to you last week, guys. If none of you've seen that, I actually brought out it as a video on its own that we interviewed one of the most bullish Archer aviation investors, and it was a great chat. So, Dylan, thank you so much for your continued support.
100%.
Good to see you. Thanks, Dylan. And then I think they spend a lot of time Archer in Davos. Now that they are back, Archer posted on the stage interview. So you think they spend a lot of time over in? Yeah, I do. I think we spoke about that, didn't we, earlier? I'm starting to get a little bit fed up about speaking about the likes of the Middle East, but like no actual material coming from it. It just feels like there's only so much you can talk about. I either want you in there and operating. I know that sounds really impatient. I either want a deal done, you're operating, or I want you to do a Joby and just get on with your business.
Yeah, agreed.
Adam G spoke very confidently and mirrored the guidance from Q3 on scope. That's another thing that's coming up is the earnings. I do think Archer are on track. Adam just seems to be very confident in absolutely everything he says. What I'd love to do is go back and listen to a few earning calls back and see, is he given the same sort of approach, or has this confidence came from what he is seeing from within Archer? Because I do think he mirrors Elon a little bit like that, where he seems to be promising an awful lot. I just want to see this now get delivered. That was a quote I wrote down from video, was 5 million by 1,000 to be delivered. So that's what he's aiming for if the likes of the big aerospace giants get in there. By the way, let's not forget that delivered at midnight. I had a hard time believe that they would have got the Department of Defense deal without knowing the midnight can fly. Agree. E-Hang is a hard buy for me because it's a Chinese stock. Too much corruption in China. It's one of those. Is it? This could be controversial to say, but is it? Is there more fear around these Chinese stocks than? Did I lose you for a second?
Yeah. So you were just saying about is there more fear in these Chinese stocks because of? I thought I was one that went.
So I just think, is there more fear in these Chinese stocks than what there actually should be? Do we think it's this blanket, this Chinese market is corrupt, and that's what's being pushed out by the media, and they're not actually as bad as we think? Or is it true? I would like to know that. But look, I am not a politician, and I'm not going there.
Yeah, we'll stay in our lane with that one, I think.
We'll stay going to our 117k live here, mate.
That's it.
So the Davos tickets, to my knowledge, were 40k a piece to go, and I think Archer skipped last year's, too pretty short. And to the interview, Adam really spoke confident and didn't sway from guidance. Yeah, he did reiterate most of what he explained in Q3 on his call. Q4, I would just like to see a little bit more about. I want to hear more about this Archer defense side of the business. I want to know where this cash is going. Is there any more deals on the horizon? How do you plan to upscale the production from your Covington, Georgia factory? Because we spoke about it last week, going from 12 to 450, 500 midnights a year is going to be wild. Archer defense, I think, may be what brings revenue. Go on.
No, I think as well, the other thing I want to know where they are with the type certification. I know we're getting regular updates from Joby that they're into the final stage, but Are Archer on the final stage? Last update I seen was they were on stage 3. Where are they now? Basically,
Yeah.
Just it's news that we want to know, and I hope that they're going to give us some good news. I think these earnings are going to be huge for the year. It's going to give us a steer and see where we're going for 2025. So yeah, I can't wait.
It's going to set the pace, really. Like, are they definitely? I'd love to know. Are they going to double down and say they're going to come out Q4 25 into Abu Dhabi, or are they going to push it back to Q1, even Q2 26?
I know that Elon Musk gets an awful lot of stick for his wild time frames, and we're going to go and do it by then. But the one thing it does, it lights a fire underneath everyone's, underneath every one of the engineers and team that, oh no, we need to get it done by June. We need to get it done by Q2. We need to get it done by, whenever he sets that date, they are fired up. They need to get it done and they need to get it over. Whereas at the moment, we're not really setting any dates or targets. We're just, it'll sort of be done when it's done, which is always like a wrong attitude to have. Now, I know internally they might be saying something different and they might not want to put a target on their back because it is a bit of an unknown at the moment. It's like a moving target. Like they don't know when these regulations will be over the line or when they'll be nailed down. But as an Archer investor, on a selfish perspective, I'd like to know a bit more where they are and when we can be expecting it.
Yeah. Then I think the likes of Joby and that, if they get commercialized, I'm back. Joby, if they get commercialized in the near term, will that speed up Archer's timeline? Are they more or less happy the way they're going?
If they can, piggyback and off the back. Hello, Nicholas.
Did I miss anything? I'm just dropping in. How are we getting on? Make sure to bang that subscribe button, Nicholas. Would love to have you join us on these daily live, or not daily, weekly live streams. Yeah. Let us know what type of stocks you're invested in and if we can add anything to the road to glory. My ears are just open at the moment. I want this next big thing.
Yeah. We're trying to keep our finger on the pulse. There's definitely one out there.
Oh, there is. It's always looking for a needle in a haystack, but it will be there. Angela Deal, interesting note in the filing form on the deal. The initial term of collaboration extends through May of 26 and is exclusive in nature.
That's a great spot, Dylan. That's the one thing I'd say about Dylan. He reads between the lines and he's got an eye for detail.
He doesn't leave no stone unturned. He is pure accuracy.
He'll find the needle in the haystack. That is interesting, though. That is exclusive in nature. Continues from the that's what I work with.
So then, continue from the above comment, such that neither party may work with another third party on a substantially similar project. And this is what we were talking about.
This is exactly.
That means they're going to be. I would love to know, will they get the same sort of thing when big airlines start producing?
You did call it. The thing is, though, I think this might be a contract with an expiration date, so maybe it will be limited to just them up until a certain date, but then it will expire and then they can go out on the mass market.
Yeah.
Because surely they're not going to tie themselves down just to one company for the rest of their time. Like, it can't be.
Tie themselves to Joby and it'd be sorted.
It just seems, it seems like they'd be limiting themselves from a massive market in just a niche like air company.
Oh yeah. The only reason I knew about Palantir was because about 20 years ago, my wife worked at a t-shirt company, and Palantir called and ordered 1 million shirts.
Jesus.
First million. Oh my god! Are you invested in Palantir? And like, did you go long on it, or
I'd love to know.
Are you out?
Let me check what the stock price would have been 20 years ago. Come on to.
It might not have been public.
No, it doesn't go back anywhere near. Jesus.
Yeah, no, they mightn't have been public back then.
No, they weren't.
Hey, Nicholas. Just getting it all in. Love the video on the top 3 books to read. I'll be picking one up for the weekend. Oh, do you know what? This is amazing, guys. So during this whole storm, I got back into reading the books again. So I reread. I'm not going to say the 3 books because you know what, guys? This is probably one of our worst ever videos for people not watching it. But you know what? If you want to see the 3 books, you can go ahead and you can go and watch them. But no, to be fair, the 3rd book that I list on it is probably one of my favorites when it comes to investing. And really what I do in that video, I give you 3 books, 3 stories, like 1 from each book, and then 3 lessons about the stock market. And I know I've said it for Rocket Lab, but it equally applies to the likes of Archer and Joby. So honestly, guys,
investing in.
I think one of the best then me. But anyway, so we have Nicholas Muller. I'm just getting started on New Jersey. A colleague of mine, I started looking at drive companies doing testing. That is how I came across Joby and Archer, looking at being in competition for the next Tesla. Now, this is not financial advice, Nicholas. I don't think Joby and Archer are really focused on the likes of Tesla. I think they are very similar in a model of what they want to do in the skies. But I don't think they'll come in contact with the likes of Tesla competition for a good long while anyway. They're completely different businesses.
I can see that there is like similarities you can draw from it. But I wouldn't say that they're in the same market. But there are, like, in terms of, and I do think that both Joby and Archer are going to go autonomous, similar to what Tesla is aiming to do now in the future. And the fact that they're like trying to do cutting edge technology to change the spaces that they were in. So in them sort of ways, if that's what you were sort of implying, I can understand it. But I don't think it'd be a direct competitor at any point.
I would like to get back into Tesla, honestly. I constantly with Tesla, when the price drops, I expect it to drop lower. I never pulled the trigger on Tesla. It's
a very volatile stock as well, wasn't it? It was up, down.
I need to just pull the trigger at some stage.
Tesla stock
because I know what's going to happen with it. I just think it's just going to go astronomical in the next 10, 20 years.
10, 20 years, yeah. Like it could be up to like a 25x maybe. But it's just how long is your time horizon and how long are you willing to do without that money for?
So, welcome to the Retail Investing. 20 years from now, we will thank ourselves. I agree. I do think so. Nicholas Muller, I'm literally betting on it. That's the only thing I'd say. This is not financial advice at all. We have a video from a few weeks ago where it's all Archer and Joby investors need to know, and it sort of tells you the story about when me and Reese first started investing.
Yeah, that's
and just to be careful, betting really big on companies.
If you're new to investing, that is definitely 100% worth it.
I do think Archer and Joby are going to get there, but would I go my full portfolio? No. I wouldn't personally, but I hope Archer and Joby retires everyone that is here. I personally think it will over a 20-year time horizon.
Yeah, I think it will do. We'll check back in. I think even 5 to 10 years we might be seeing the much healthier account balances, but I guess time will tell.
It's one of those I just want to keep adding. I just feel like if we just keep accumulating at this stage, we won't regret it. You don't want to do what me and Reece done with Palantir, put it that way. I don't want to be looking up at it.
Yeah, exactly. 20% seems good at the time, but in retrospect, 20% has cost us like 800%. So be patient.
DCA, I lost that one. DCA over the next year on these stocks should pay off greatly. Now, that is where I would be quite careful coming into it. So I've explained this before. We're expecting marginalization and that. And I do think as we get closer and closer, I do think the stock price is going to keep rallying. Now, I wouldn't be certain that what wouldn't happen is a bit of a pullback after we initially get it, as the big hedge fund to start pulling out. I do think it will be up in a year's time. I'm expecting a price target of around $20, which I've said before. But
yeah, and you called it well before the stock took this sudden rise. So
yeah. But then Dylan Rogers, I'm looking more into what seemed Archer had a 2019 stock equity package that looks like a few leaderships sold. Okay. Yeah, all the new filing. Oh, you included that. Dylan actually sent us over a nice spreadsheet on Archer, and I seen that in it.
Yeah,
I would like to dive into that. That is quite interesting. What have we got here? I'm with you, Zone of Ender. Maybe we can all catch a midnight together to our group retirement. Do you know what? Yeah, Dylan Rogers, 100%. We will get 2 or 3 midnights because you do more than enough for us. So I want to thank you for that. But guys, do you know what? I actually think this would be wild. Once we need to think of a certain price target, yeah, and once Archer is commercialized, we need to do like a Hustle Brother meetup and like all fly on midnights together. I think that'd be wild. But yeah, that's just throwing it out there.
Maybe go out for a few beers afterwards as well to celebrate.
Oh, you can't miss them, mate.
That goes without saying.
And that's if the midnight can lift us.
Oh yeah. We'll have to get Bag out as well.
Yeah, I have to bring Bag out.
He obviously won't get in because he doesn't believe it will be able to carry over 5 miles. Was it 200 pounds over 5 miles? But I'd love to see the look on his face.
You know what? Over a champagne celebrating with him. And you know what? To be fair to Bag, I think deep down in his heart, he does want it to work.
Yeah.
He won't admit it, but deep down in his heart, Bag of Holding wants this industry to work. I do know it. But anyway, Liam and Reece, what is your opinion on the $3 stock Lithium Americas, where they plan to start mining Thacker Pass as early as 2026? Do you know what? Let me bring that up because I haven't actually heard of it. But that is an interesting one to look for the road to glory. Lithium Americas. Okay, let me share the screen here. My Robinhood seems to be gone down at the moment. What we'll do, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I'm down for that midnight flight for sure. You know what, Nicholas? We're going bringing you. I promise you, mate. Thacker Pass Cledra has about $1.5 trillion worth of lithium in Nevada. Do you know, we were looking at lithium stocks. Well, it was before NVIDIA shot up. We were actually thinking, what's going to be the next big thing? Is it going to be AI or is it going to be the likes of EVs and lithium shortage. I'm not too up on lithium stocks. I would look at Lithium Americas if it will come up here, but I wouldn't know much about it. Does Archer release earnings tomorrow? Archer doesn't release earnings tomorrow. Archer release earnings, it's something like the 26th of February. I have a live stream set up for it. So when you finish this stream, if you go into our live on our channel, you'll see the stream's already set up. And if you click notify me, you'll make sure. Did we lose volume? I think you did lose volume when my internet, the wind blew me again. I think of this next while I'm going to have trouble with internet and stuff. But thank you for sticking with us. We need volume. Moneymakers have Archer pinned at the... Oh, so was he on about volume in the stock? Okay. We need volume. Moneymakers have Archer pinned at their max price. Next week will be better. Do you know what? I'm not mad on these short-term moves on Archer, really. I'm looking at it more of a long-term thing. I know I did see a post on one of the other social media platforms where they were trying to hype up the stock and get people to hold and drive it up. Look, you're never going to beat the hedge funders. Just how we invest is if we believe in the business, we look at the fundamentals behind the business, we look to see their financials in order, and then we invest over a 5, 10, 20-year horizon. Yeah. I'm not too fond of this short-term trading at the moment, especially I just wouldn't feel right doing it on a stock that we're so passionate about, because if the boat leaves without us, I'd just be gutted.
It's similar to what we've seen. I think it's similar to what we've seen a few months ago, where it went from like the $3 mark to 5, came back, then went up to 7, came back, went up to 8. Like, there's going to be a point where it pulls back, but how do you know at what point you're going to catch it on the right, or which point it's going to shoot off again? Whereas, as long as if you're in it and you think it's going in the right direction, yeah, you could have made a little bit more, but you could also have missed out and end up getting a much higher price point. So, yeah, for me, I think for peace of mind and just less stress in general, I like to just stick in it rather than trying to constantly be checking my phone and trying to beat myself up. Now, every time I look at it, it's gone down or it's gone up.
Oh, yeah, massively. I've said it before, guys. Reese told me it was over a year ago now, just delete the app off your phone. You don't need to be looking at it. You can't change anything. It gets rid of the stress in here, honestly. And if you're that worried and you're that stressed about being in the stock and you're worried about the price moving that much, you're too heavy in. You should not be worried about where the stock's going. Look, my portfolio isn't going to take a 90% drop. So just be very careful. So guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Reese, same time next week?
Same time next week. Thank you all for coming. It's been great. And let's hope for more Joby news next week. Joby and Archer.
Thanks, guys. Hit that subscribe.
See ya.